because you're in love with what you're doing and you're in love with the experience you're going to have. Or it's kind of like you want to change something. You want to change something around you. You want to change the world around you. You want to affect the people around you or the things around you. That's very important for a volunteer to understand that.
What's up, dear Dovies? A warm welcome to another hitchhiking entry of the Diary of Volunteers on Earth, straight out of Iran, the former Persian Empire, I should say. And this is the second episode that I have recorded in this beautiful, beautiful country. And it's beautiful, beautiful people, of course. But before we get into this episode, let me just do a little bit of housekeeping. We can keep it short again this week, probably, because I'm just going to thank my sponsors, Dr. Walter Insurances, who have been super helpful and super forthcoming with their offer to sponsor this podcast on the road and my health and travel insurance. And I can only recommend looking at their offers, the Pro Trip or Pro Trip World insurances, if you are planning any sort of volunteering, backpacking, hitchhiking, any sort of adventure holiday. Doesn't matter what it is, because their offers really cover everything that you might need. It's not only health and accident insurance, but you also have liability insurance and assistance insurance if you need it. So if anything happens, Dr. Walter has got you covered. And from my own experience, you have heard it before, I can say that it's really recommended to do this. I never really thought insurances are that important, to be honest, but with this one, I think it is. And please check out their links in the show notes. What you may also want to check out is ways to support me and this podcast. If you have enjoyed my work, if you are following me on my travels, you should know that this is basically my only income right now. I don't make money any other way than through my content at the moment. So I have set up two ways to support me. One of them is a Patreon website, which you can find in the show notes as well. There's three different tiers starting at €4.50 or $4.20, I think. With a monthly subscription, you gain access to some behind the scenes content and some additional content that doesn't make it on social media. I have been a little bit lazy with that, / it's not easy with the VPN to upload things on Patreon. I know I should do that more, but also you gain more voting power on upcoming votes. And if that is too much commitment, then there is a second option to just throw some digital money in my digital tip jar on PayPal, and you can find the link to that also in the show notes. So this episode is going to be out of Isfahan, and if you have followed my Instagram or Facebook stories or my posts on social media, you know that I have been volunteering in a place called Chilla Hostel in the heart of Isfahan. I was planning on staying in Isfahan for just 4 nights. It ended up being 14, 10 of which I volunteered at this hostel. And in this podcast, I am talking to Hamid, who is the manager of the hostel, and Leila, who is one of the guests, or was one of the guests, but because I was volunteering there and she thought that is a really cool idea, she also decided to volunteer there for, I believe it was 3 days. And you will be able to hear that this is probably one of the Dove entries with the most laughter and the most fun. And I think it is because when you actually get to know people, it's also much easier to record a podcast together. And during my time at Chilla Hostel, I got to know both of them really well. They're both from Iran originally. Hamid is a straight up Isfahani, and Leila is actually originally from Tabriz, which is a city that I've also already visited. In this entry, we talked basically about how it is to volunteer in a hostel, how it is to offer volunteers or travelers to volunteer in a hostel, and yeah, just a lot about volunteering in general, I guess, which was really nice and which I think is actually a really good advertisement for this podcast in general. What you will also notice during the podcast is that we had some technical difficulties, namely batteries being, I don't know, really low quality here, or I guess maybe I just got the really low quality ones. I'm sure there's good batteries in Iran as well, but not only once, but twice during the recording, the batteries ran out and we had to pause for a little bit, and the end is recorded with just phones. So please excuse any technical issues, or for the audio files among you, please excuse any hiccups. And I think without further ado, let's just get right into this Dove entry. Here is Hamid and Leila.
Okay, let's start. Ready?
Yeah.
Cool. We're in the wonderful common room of the Chilla Hostel in Isfahan city. And I'm here joined by Hamid and Leila. Hamid is... Actually, just introduce yourself. No, we should go ladies first. Leila, your turn.
Okay. Hello everyone, this is Leila. I'm actually 23 years old and I have been here for like 3 nights, and I have been volunteering here for another 3 nights. So glad to know you guys.
Very nice. You can be a little bit more natural if you want.
I was actually thinking about the birds.
I could tell. You told us that you're on your very first solo trip.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
So good. I mean, it feels amazing when you're traveling solo. When you're traveling solo, you are only on your own. You need to like make the decisions, do all the job, prepare yourself, and that's actually amazing. Like, I actually feel like it makes your brain to create those kind of other connections that they haven't been existing in your mind.
Wow.
So yeah.
It's like a psychedelic experience.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why did it take you so long 23 years. Why now and why not before?
Okay, so I have been studying for 18 years. Then I entered to the university and I have been studying for another 4 years in my hometown. So after 6 months that I graduated from university, I started working. And now I'm actually unemployed. I'm actually waiting for the offer letter of the positions I applied for. So right now I'm free and I can travel solo and experience the things, and yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you more about your experiences, but let's bring Hamid back into the conversation.
Yeah.
What's up?
Hello, everyone. First, I want to tell you, actually, she was volunteer, but she did nothing. I'm surprising, really. All the time she was running away from the work we gave her. And
tell us about yourself, though.
So, my name is Hamid. I'm 32 years old with a lot of experience.
Don't negotiate, right?
Yeah, and my age is 32. Don't negotiate more. And yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
You run this hostel.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I don't know. It was my wish for many years that I wanted to do that, and finally is getting true. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did it become your wish? What led to that? Or you were a little boy, 6 years old, and you were already thinking, oh, one day I want to own a hostel? Or when did that start?
I don't know, because I was working with travelers since 10, 15 years ago. And that's why, I was also traveling to several countries. I go to many hostels. And all the time I was thinking, oh, maybe one day I could have my own hostel. And finally I have it. and I'm so.
How does it feel now? Yeah, I was just gonna ask.
Yeah, I'm so happy, and I don't know. I can just.
You don't know, or you
I
don't-
can just say I'm so happy.
Okay, but
Yeah.
I'm sure it also comes with a lot of like pressure, and I don't know. Is it all positive? Your feelings about it, or is there also something that you didn't expect? Maybe.
Maybe I didn't expect that much hard because like I can sleep at the moment. I sleep like 4 hours per day, and all the time. Yeah, as you say, there is a lot of pressure, and yeah. But I'm so happy. Actually, I find a really cool guy who helped me.
You're talking about me, right? Oh.
No, Adileza. And of course you, yeah, sure. And also the other girl, I don't want to tell her name. Yeah,
Leila is her
Leila,
name.
yeah. Yeah, I know Leila, but I didn't want to tell her name,
okay.
yeah. Because all the time she ran away and she didn't work at
Not
all.
true.
Yeah. And yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
That's it. You also asked me to volunteer with you.
Yeah.
You are actively looking for volunteers. You're actively looking for people to come here. Not just, obviously you're wanting to find guests who are going to stay here, but also you're looking for volunteers. What in your opinion, is like the benefits? What's the good things about having volunteers in your hostel?
Actually, because I cannot speak English really good.
That's not true.
Maybe for conversation, normal conversation is fine.
To make jokes.
Yeah, true.
Exactly. But like going like in the internet, searching about like some website who like advice about like hostels or like hostel wars, another like website, it was really hard for us to register. And I find you like as a really professional guy who is speaking English really cool without any accent, like German accent, I mean.
I'm turning red.
Yeah, don't be red.
I'm always red, actually.
Yeah. That's it. And it was really cool actually because I think you were like the best person I could find.
Stop now.
No, seriously, naprawdę. Серьезно. And
Also,
yeah.
for everybody listening, Hamid speaks all the languages, but only like 4 to 5 words.
No. I can speak like 10 at least. Yeah.
Okay, but after me, I feel so stupid. Like now that you said all those things, you're still hoping to find volunteers in the future also to help you here, or it's just now in the beginning?
No. I think there is open all the time for volunteers because we improve like our mistake, and we always need someone who give us like new advice and help us for like new thing. I think we always need volunteer, yeah.
So it's also the perspective and the new ideas and the creativity that comes with
Exactly,
having
yeah.
new people, because you have really good employees that also have a huge important role in the success of a hostel. Just in
Exactly.
general, not your hostel, but also in general. But then also you have people coming in that bring different experiences, that bring different life stories.
Yeah.
And you think you can benefit from that. Did I understand it correctly?
Yeah, exactly.
Just like me.
Yeah.
What do you think is the experience and the perspective that you can bring as a volunteer to a hostel like this? I know it's hard to talk. No, actually, for you, it will be fine to talk really positively about yourself.
Okay, so as a volunteer, I kind of feel like one of the most important things about being volunteer is that to help the host to see the maybe weakness points of the place or of the everything about the hostel. So it's very important for me to mention those kind of points so they can fix it.
Yeah,
One of
that
the-
she didn't do.
Oh my
One
god!
of the-
I think this is gonna
yeah.
be the podcast with the most fun that I've ever had.
Yeah. One of the other things that I wanted to mention that is that, guys, it's not true. I'm working here.
Really hard.
Yeah.
Is she working hard or is she hardly working?
Actually, no, she's right. Actually, she was like working so hard, like 10 minutes per day. Yeah, I can say 10 minutes or maybe 11. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Okay, but do you realize that it's here at this hostel? It is like that your opinion and your, like you said, you're pointing out the things that might be improvable, that might not be as good right now as they could be. Would you expect that to be at all the hostels? Are you even planning on volunteering at other hostels in the future or at other places?
Yeah, actually, I just read that caption of your post that you introduced Iran volunteering page. So I just followed them, and I'm actually planning to be volunteer in the future. But as I can understand, there are not so many hosts that accept your opinion or thoughts about their own place. Yeah, I mean, Hamid, I was lucky to be here as a volunteer, so I could meet you guys, and also Hamid as a very nice host. And he
stop flattering him so much.
Like 2 minutes ago, she all the time she fight me and she say, "I hate you now." I don't know what's happened.
And Hamid also accepts the opinion and thoughts about the place because he wants to improve the place. I mean, that's admirable.
That's true, actually. You can be proud of that.
Yeah.
I think. Would you, if you take a moment to actually think about it before you answer, if, for example, another volunteer like me wouldn't have been here already, would you have considered it? Or would you have just stayed like a normal, quote unquote, normal guest?
This is a really good question because I had no idea about volunteering in hostels such as this one. But I think I would just leave this place if I didn't know anything about volunteering. So I met you. You were volunteering here. You just mentioned that you're volunteering here, doing all the tasks and everything. And I kind of felt like, wow, this could be a very great experience for me. So yeah, I just considered that because I saw you doing it here. So yeah.
Was it important for you? Did you actually talk about the kind of, I'm not gonna call it contract because there's no such thing as a contract, but the conditions of your volunteering? Was that important for you at all?
Yeah, of course, that was important. And I talked to Hamid, and Hamid told me that, well, there are some criteria, and she mentioned
at least 10 minutes a day.
No.
No, let's say 11.
11, just don't negotiate. 11 minutes
11
a day.
Minutes a day.
And yes, I kind of felt like, okay, the criteria is fine, so I'm just going to be a volunteer here.
Okay. Hamid, tell us about your traveling experiences.
Actually...
No.
Yeah.
That's too broad. Tell us about some things that you've learned from other travelers.
I learned from other travelers.
Yes. Besides speaking English and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean philosophical things.
Philosophy, I believe karma.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Who taught you that?
I don't know. Before if we go back, maybe 10 years ago, when I started to meet travelers, I met so many backpackers who didn't have any money, $1 budget per day or $2. They spend really almost no money. And I helped them a lot. I paid for their taxi, and also I give them food, I give them the place to stay for several days, even sometimes several months. And when I travel in other country, they give me back. Not that people, even I didn't contact them, the other people, they do exactly the same for me. Also, they take me around, they spend a lot of time with me. For example, I go to Russia with $50 and I didn't spend any money there because a lot of people, they help me with everything.
Wow.
And also I go to Tajikistan with $70 and many other countries also like that.
Is that, I always think of volunteering as a transaction that doesn't involve money. You know?
Yeah.
When you're volunteering, there's normally no money involved.
Exactly.
In your experience and in your opinion, does that change also the sort of relationship that you build with people because there's no money involved?
Can you say in English?
I just did. You get the question or no?
Not really.
Maybe translate in Farsi.
Yeah.
I didn't catch the conversation.
You
I'm
didn't
sorry.
pay attention.
Yeah.
I was asking if, actually you can also answer the question maybe, if when there's no money involved, usually in volunteering there's no money involved.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Does that change the sort of relationship that you make with people when you are volunteering or when you are, you know, receiving volunteers here at the hostel? Or is it the same as if you were paying somebody to do the same work?
I think it's almost the same. But volunteering is, I think like the people who do volunteering, they really love to do that, you know? They do that even for free, but they like to have an experience and also for the other thing. I think they do that with more love. But people who takes money, maybe they do that because of the money. So they don't like really pay attention to the work they do, or sometimes they don't care. They just want to finish that, you know? Mm-hmm. They just want to finish like 8 hours per day or like some hours per day and they just finish because they're working for the money. But volunteering, no. They do that like for the experience, and that's why they do that maybe with more love.
I really like that. Actually, that they do it out of love, because I feel that with almost everybody who I've had on this podcast, it doesn't matter what they do, if it's rescuing animals, if it's spending the last few days or months or weeks with somebody who is about to die, if it's somebody who, I don't know, works with young people to mentor them, every single time it feels like there's so much love involved. Yeah. And that's for me also, it's gonna sound very cheesy to the people listening, but for me that's also a huge motivation to make this podcast, because I really think we need more of that in our world. And, you know, I'm coming to a country that, without going too deep into it, has a lot of issues. People have to work really, really hard to make a living here for several reasons. People, like, you know, I'm coming from a country where people are very, very privileged with just out of luck. I've told you guys about this also. Yeah. And here it feels like it's a big fight. And even just before, when I was with Amin, we were talking about the fact that people here are very good business people. They know where to make the money. They know how to make the money. It's not like in other countries where, or at least in my experience, it's not like in a lot of other countries where when you're a tourist or when you're a foreigner, you're only seen as your wallet or what is in your wallet. It's not like that in Iran, in my experience. People they still see you as a person. They still talk to you as a person. Yeah. They want to meet you as a foreigner, as a traveler, as somebody who brings other experiences. It's not just about the money. And I feel like oftentimes a lot in our society is just about money. We think about that a lot because we are in a capitalistic system. And when you say volunteers do a lot of things out of love, to me that's like a huge inspiration to continue doing the thing that I do. So thank you in that sense, actually. Because I really believe we need more of that. Yeah.
Can I add another point?
You can add anything you want.
Yeah, so okay, I've been working for like 6 months as a kind of volunteer for an organization, and that's actually true. You're doing this because you're in love with what you're doing and you're in love with the experience you're going to have. Or it's kind of like you want to change something. You want to change something around you. You want to change the world around you. You want to affect the people around you or the things around you. That's very important for a volunteer to understand that. It might not be true for everyone, but most of the volunteers do it just for the experience. I mean, money is important. Money is a big issue in our country, but the experience is much more important, because maybe you can use it in the future. Maybe it's also, and I actually need to add this point, that it's actually a very great point in your resume. I mean, if you actually want to make a resume which looks very professional with so many experiences, you can do the volunteering thing, and the supervisors would be very happy to have you in their team.
Mm-hmm. Can I push back a little bit on that, in the sense where, do you think that's a good motivation to do it for your resume?
For me, yes.
Okay.
It's a good motivation, but the experience is much more important. Mm-hmm. I mean, the top one is the experience.
Kind of yeah, okay, I see. So it's like a bonus.
Yeah.
You get to put it in your CV, kind of like a bonus on top of the experience that you get. Okay, yeah, that's nice.
I can say also volunteering is not about the experience. A lot of time also is about the love that I told you.
Stop it.
Because, listen, I met a lot of traveler. For example, I met a Dutch girl who did volunteering for 1 year helping kids in India, poor kids. So it's not for experience. What the experience? Okay, experience is 1 month, 10 days, Not 1 year without any money. You just spend 1 year of your life for people who maybe you don't meet them again, or just help them for food, give them food, or people who, I don't know, they cannot they don't have any education. You just give them teach them alphabet, anything. Is maybe experience, it can be for 1 week, 2 weeks, or 1 month, but not for 1 year.
That's actually the influence part I mentioned. Mm-hmm. You want to influence people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also, I mean, for me, it's as cliche as it sounds, one of the biggest motivations for me to do all the things that I'm doing is to make the world a better place.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I feel is a lot of volunteers. That's one thing that a lot of volunteers share. I think. Maybe it's a naive way of seeing the world, but I think a lot of people just want to make our world a better place, and they want to help where they can, with the energy that they have, with the love that they have, with the passion that they have, and they want to put that into something. And whatever that is, can be many different things.
Yeah.
Nice. I was supposed to mention anything else?
I don't know. You are the boss, you should ask.
No, anything that I forgot, anything that you guys feel you want to mention still? Anything that you want to have on record in this podcast?
Yeah, I just want to mention something. For me, communicating with people is really important. I mean, I chose to stay at hostel because I wanted to meet people and communicate with them, to know their ideas and opinion about the world, about where they are traveling to. It's very important for me. So hostels are like some good places to communicate. And when you are doing as a volunteer, you get the chance to meet so many people around you, to talk to them, to help them, to put your feet in their shoes and see the world from their eyes. I mean, not 100%, but maybe 30-40% is enough. So yeah, that's another good experience that a volunteer can have.
Mm-hmm. So do you think that when you are volunteering, it makes that sort of communication easier than when you are a normal guest? From the few days that you've had here, or did it not change much?
I mean, it's kind of different, maybe 40%, 50%, because when you are at a hostel as a normal guest, you can communicate with people, but they don't ask you to for maybe their needs, their things to do, or maybe they run out of something, they want you to do the thing. And with those experiences, you get the chance to communicate more, to like answer more. And that's the experience, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Okay, you have something to add?
Not really, but
Otherwise,
I think,
I'm gonna ask my last two questions.
yeah, but I think people, they shouldn't like scared about it. Because sometimes, I don't know, we are scared to do volunteering for many reasons, for many things. But I think people, they should like take it easy, and it's really good to do volunteering, even once in life. Because not everyone do that. Because a lot of people, they see that like as a bad thing, and they cannot understand why some people, they spend a lot of time to do something for free. And I think it's a really good thing, and people who they didn't do that yet and they are listening now, I really highly recommend them to do volunteering. That thing, they really like it, that job or anything, they really like it. It's good for their experience, and also I think after doing volunteering, their mind, like their opinion about the life, about the world, it can be changed. And for sure they will be different people, even if they work even for like one day, And yeah,
100%.
I think it's really good thing to do.
Yeah, and especially at Chilla Hostel in Isfahan.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Chilla Hostel is the best in the world.
Half the world, right?
Yeah.
Isfahan. Okay, we talked about this yesterday, and before I ask my last two questions, maybe you want to speak about it on the podcast also. You just said that sometimes it's better to just take things easy. Now I've been here for over a week. We talked a lot, and I feel like you are a person who understands, who's like really good at not worrying too much about many things. It feels like you're really good at being in the moment and not like always having the consequences in mind. Sometimes that brings advantages, sometimes it brings disadvantages maybe, but how do you do it?
I don't know, but I think most of the time we are scared of something, it's never happen, You just make your mind busy with something, it will be never happen, and you cannot have like really relaxed life. Because all the time you make your mind busy and you say, I do that, I don't know how to explain, but it's better like don't think about anything and just go with the flow and just relax. And I think the world is really safe, everywhere is really safe, and we should just enjoy. Now we are in the paradise. This is the paradise. We should just enjoy. And we don't know how many days or hours or year we will be alive, so it's better we just enjoy the moment. And also like yesterday is gone. Of course we should learn from the past, but we shouldn't stay in the past, We should just move on and just enjoy. Yeah.
Nice.
Because some people, they make plan for like 10 years later or 20 years later. Yeah, sometimes we can make a plan, but not just focus on the future, because future maybe it cannot happen. So,
would you agree with that?
I mean, not exactly.
Yes, I was hoping to hear that. What's your point of view?
I mean, living at the moment is very important to experience, like to take all of the joy of the moment. But actually, I believe that making some plans and having some values and some standards are very important to make your life a very exciting and a better one. Yeah.
You think the values and the standards make it more exciting?
Yep, actually. I mean, maybe if you go with the flow, it's more be very much more exciting and also much more frightening, maybe. But having values helps you to get to know the people that you expect them. So actually, when you have the values and standards, you get to know the people with the same values and standards, and maybe it's better for your life. Maybe it's kind of like better to have a very stable life and also experiencing stable moments, actually. I kind of feel like that.
It's super interesting because you guys are very opposite in that way. So I think that's really interesting to have both perspectives. And Hamid is making the movement that he has something to reply to.
Actually, that she said we should make a plan for next, for example, 10 years later. I think the world is changed so fast. Something we like now, maybe in 2 months we don't like it anymore. And also it can change a lot. So that's why I say it's better if we do something we like now. For example, I can tell some people, they say, okay, let's go to university and study, for example, I don't know, like art. They like it, art really, they really love it now. But maybe 5 years later, they love more I don't know, geography or something else, That's why we shouldn't make plan for really far.
Sure.
And
because
be in the moment. Yeah, it's changed a lot and everything is changed.
I kind of agree with that, actually. I think I actually get both of your points, I'm in the middle. I'm always trying to find the balance. And I think it's important to find the balance between being in the moment, having a plan, minding your past, and embracing change. When change happens, we should let it happen. We should not, build a wall against change, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
But also at the same time, it does make sense to have values, and it does make sense to have some things that you strongly believe in and that you are willing to fight for and stand up for. So yeah, I totally get that.
I actually wanted to mention that maybe having values and standards and maybe planning for future doesn't mean that you can't go with the flow. You can change your plans every single moment. You can change it. If you want to study psychology, you can change it in a second. You can study art. You can quit studying psychology and you can study art. So going with the flow is not the opposite with having values and standards. You can have your standards and values and also go with the flow. Meet people, do some good things, some new things. So yeah, that was my point.
Yeah, they're not mutually exclusive, I think, those two things. Okay. Because we had battery problems twice and now we're recording with the phone, let's wrap this up. I have 2 questions at the end of the podcast that I ask every single time. The first one is, you get to send a letter to someone. Can be in the future, in the past, right now, somebody who's alive right now. What would be the content of that letter and who would you send it to? You can raise your hands if you know the answer.
Actually, maybe I will send a letter to my kids. And I would tell them, don't afraid of new experience and enjoy the moment also. Of course, they should have some plan. I didn't say, for example, they change their mind every minute or everything. They will have some a main plan. For example, as she said, for the university. But for a lot of things, we should just go by flow, and we should just take it easy, and we don't stay in the past. And also, we shouldn't all the time thinking about future, what's happened in the future, because we really don't know what's happened. The coronavirus is changed a lot the world. And before that, we never expect it will be something coming like coronavirus, and the world it's really changed, before corona and after corona.
when would you want them to get that letter? Like at what age, or would you send them the letter right now?
Right now also, yeah. In the future, yeah, I can send a letter, and yeah, I can send a letter. And maybe in the future, if I change my mind again, because of course we change like every day, you know, because we see something new and our mind maybe change. Also, we will have a different face of the world, and we can change the letter like any times. Because of course we change like every minute, every day, and I'm really different with the person who was like 5 months ago. I think I changed a lot, like 100% I changed.
Wow.
Like next
next
5 months I will like change like maybe a lot again. So we change, so we can change the letter. But I can write the letter now because I will die tomorrow, you know. I don't know how many years or month I will alive, so I can change my letter like every year. Or anytime else I can.
I'll allow it this time. How about you?
If I was able to send a letter to someone, and actually Jakob told me that I can send it to so many people, so I'm just going to mention that. I would send it to like young teenagers who want to have like so much experience. I would ask them to travel a lot, even if even if they don't have the money, and even if they don't have the permission from their parents maybe to do so. Please travel a lot, get to know people, communicate with them, like accept their thoughts and opinion, have your own values and standards, change, go with the flow, and live your life, live at the moment, enjoy your life, and have plans. Yeah. Have plans for the future, and you can also enjoy the moment. Yeah. Whenever you're free, just travel around, be volunteer, like be an intern or anything, just experience. You are young and you can experience. So when you are like 50 or 60, you don't regret anything.
What's your favorite birds?
Like, I love swallows. If my quote is that like fly with the birds and find your own sun. So I love swallows. I love how they travel and fly and scream at the same time. They're so free. If I could, I wish to be a bird and travel all around the world. Yeah.
And here?
Actually, I love all the birds. I don't know. I'm thinking which one I like the most. But I think I love all of them.
Come on, choose one.
No, really, I can't really. But which one can I say? Maybe parrot?
Parrots?
Yeah, parrots.
A specific kind of parrot or just parrots?
Peacock also.
Oh, peacock. I've never had peacock on the podcast, actually.
Yeah. Peacock also, I like it because also it's a similar paradise. Yeah. And yeah.
Nice. I'll take that as an answer. So Alireza was listening very patiently the whole time, and he can actually make a bird sound. He's got sugar in his mouth right now. You can also make a bird sound.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, thank you guys so much. It was a pleasure. We had a lot of hiccups with the technology, of course, because I'm just going to put that on record now. Persian batteries suck. They don't work well at all, but I'm going to fix that. And yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Hamid is tired, so we're going to stop the podcast now.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. So I really hope that you enjoyed this episode and this entry as much as I did. I had a lot of fun with those two recording the podcast. And if you're listening to this live, you should know that I will be back to Isfahan. I will be back with Hamid. Just because I enjoyed my time so much. No, because I have to extend my visa, and I'm going to do that in Isfahan. If you don't know why I'm doing that and you don't speak German, then probably I should address this right now in the end of the podcast. I am going to change my whole plan of hitchhiking to South Korea. I will be staying in Iran longer, and I will probably end up taking a flight from either Pakistan or India to reach the World Scout Jamboree, which is my final destination, in case you didn't know that. But I guess there's no point in talking any more about this. Now, just the last two things before I forget. This is what a peacock sounds like. Meow! No, this is what a peacock really sounds like. And this is what swallows sound like. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for spending time with Dove, the Diary of Volunteers on Earth. Thank you for your attention. Much peace, much love to wherever you are in the world listening to this. Until next time, Jakob.